Solutions for Food Insecurity by Anna Franklin, Intro to Communication, Persuasive Project. So what is the food crisis? This would be food around the world has always been an issue. Food prices, obtainability, hunger, and obesity are bigger problems than they ever have been. Food is hard to access for certain groups of people all around the world, especially in those smaller countries with poor growing seasons. The more deserty countries, they do have a hard time obtaining and growing their own food, and they may not have enough money to, import it from other countries. These are some small solutions we can incorporate into our daily lives that can help dissolve these issues slowly but surely. These solutions won't solve world hunger, but they sure will help. Educational consumers on food will also help decrease these issues. Food prices. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, in 2024, all food prices are predicted to increase 2.9%, with a prediction interval of 0.5 to 0.3%. These prices to any household are crippling and leads families to buying the more unhealthy, cheaper foods. The increasing prices of meats, fruits, and vegetables cause cheaper foods to be more appealing than the nutrient-rich but more expensive options. All these reasons add to the growing obese population and health crises around the world, along with eating disorders. Food insecurity. The USDA defines food scarcity as when people do not have enough to eat and do not know where their next meal will come from. Around the world, food is scarce. Some places more than others. People in every country suffer from malnutrition because of food scarcity. Food is not easily accessed in certain parts of the world, whether it's due to a poor growing season, droughts, problems distributing, or just not enough agricultural land for resources of populations. Food education. The average consumer is not a certified nutritionist nor a dietitian. This comes at no surprise, but also people being educated about health and what exactly they are consuming would greatly benefit them and their families. Some very easy ways we can educate our consumers on food to help contribute to the healthy lifestyle and are healthcare partnerships, school food campaigns, more online resources, cooking demonstrations, and public awareness campaigns. All these things could help teach buyers to promote optimal resource utilization. Consumer education plays a vital role in building a more resilient, equitable, and sustainable food system. Food solutions. There are several positive ways individual families can help the food crisis around the world. Some of these small steps can include, but are not limited to, reducing unnecessary food waste, starting backyard gardens, and buying directly from local farms. Poverty and hunger go hand in hand, so naturally when inflation comes down, the food insecurity rate will also decrease to an extent. Increasing food education around the world will also help with informing citizens on how to acquire, prepare, and deliver tasty and nutritious meals to their own family and others. Food waste. The United Nations website states, globally, around 13% of food produced is lost between harvest and retail, while an estimate 17% of total global food production is wasted in households and the food service and retail altogether. Simple things like not overbuying groceries and wasting them, cook for who you are feeding, eating leftovers, and not throwing away food you didn't eat right away, and taking your leftover food home from restaurants and consuming them later to save a meal. This topic seems overwhelming, but it is actually quite simple. Don't waste food. Grocery stores can also help by not only buying the perfect produce to sit on their shelves for aesthetic and wasting the rest. Growing food. Not only would an at-home garden provide family fun and teach children science and responsibility, but it would also provide families with almost free fruits and vegetables. Not everyone has a yard adequate to do this project, but many homes around the world do. A pack of seeds from a gardening store can be under $1 and produce you with a whole season's worth of food. This would eliminate the need to buy overpriced grocery store products which are covered in pesticides and preservatives. Starting an at-home garden may seem overwhelming, but most certainly add feelings of joy and accomplishment to your life, along with help your diet and your wallet. Food dumping. It is so appealing for all people around the world to eat out. While there is nothing wrong with this, so much of this food goes to waste. If you sit down and eat at a high-end restaurant, not only are you paying a price tag worth way more than the food itself, but are more than likely what you do not eat will be thrown away. No one wants to scrape scraps off their plate into a box and lug them home, and the ones that do usually end up throwing the box away untouched. Be mindful when throwing away food, turn leftovers into new exciting meals, and eat later what you did not finish. This will help food scarcity and food waste around the world. Farm fresh food. More than likely, your local grocery store is not getting food from your local farms. They are buying from big plantation and monopoly farms that mass produce genetically modified fruits, vegetables, and meats. Supporting your local agricultural businesses can help with the high cost of food and also help with the local economy. Not to mention, these local farmers need a living and produce more nutritious food. Local farmers don't have to worry about how their produce will have to look sitting on a shelf and shelf life. This leads to better food all around. Cause and effect. Doing all these things in our daily lives may seem insignificant, but are truly ways to help end food scarcity. Obesity and malnutrition, however, on opposite sides of the scale, are both growing issues throughout the world. All these things discussed are ways to educate and better distribute more nutritious foods to everyone around the world. Everyone can contribute to the solution, and if everyone leans in and does everything they can do to help, this issue can shrink into something not as life-threatening. Conclusion. Food insecurity is something that will unfortunately be around forever, more than likely. These issues of overpriced foods, starvation, obesity, food waste are all things that we need to keep in mind. However, we can all counteract these things starting with reducing food waste, starting at-home gardens, buying from local farmers, and educating ourselves and others about food. Altogether, consumers can make a change in the food industry.